20x is your quadratic.
No. 200.
No, I did that wrong.
A little bit higher.
All right, Mark, get set, let's go. All right. Which is linear, which is quadratic, which is cubic out of these? So dy equals 20x dx. So if we integrate it, y equals 10x squared. This would be quadratic. So dy equals 20 dx. If we integrate it, y equals 20x. That's linear. This one, dy equals 20x squared. Integrate it.
Y equals 20 over 3x cubed.
That's cubic. And then the last one is to the fourth power. Do we even need to do that? 5x to the fourth. So that's not any of the three. That's why I said, do we even need to do it? Okay. Yes, I sure am.
Quadratic is squared.
Quadratic is squared.
Cubic is scissor.
I said, which is linear, which is quadratic, and which is cubic growth.
So what's the x?
Cubic.
No, go up.
The final one is just.
No, what's the first one?
The first one is 10x squared. That's quadratic.
Go down. See that y equals 5x to the fourth?
Yeah, that's none of the three.
Wouldn't that be poly?
That would be quartic. And I don't want to confuse that with quadratic. So that's why I just said, let's not worry about it. Okay. Because you don't have to know quartic for the test. All right. The rate of change of a perceived stimulus, P, with respect to the measured intensity, S, of a stimulus, is inversely proportional to the intensity of the stimulus. How do we write this out as a differential equation? dP over ds equals. Why pk? You need a k, not a pk. P is over here. The effect of the stimulus over s, because it's inversely proportional.
That's how you. So what if it had? What if it was like the product of? P was the product of the difference of S and J. Would it be P times S minus J then?
What?
I don't know. It was a weird question I got on my Khan Academy one.
Yes.
All right. Okay, this one is one I definitely wanted to hit before all our tracksters go. Of the following, which of the following are solutions to that differential equation? Okay, so you don't just guess, you figure them out. Number one, what is the first derivative on number one? What's the first derivative of this thing? Okay, it'd be u equals 4x, du would equal 4, right? So it'd be 8, and then the first derivative sign is cosine of 4x. What would the second derivative of that be? Because see, we have first derivative, second derivative. What would the second derivative of that be? 32, negative 32 sine of x. 4x, sorry. Okay. So what if we put it into that formula? We get negative 32 sine of 4x minus 6 times 8 times the cosine of 4x plus 8 times 2 times the sine of 4x. And is that equal to 0? Well, this is negative 32 plus 16, which is whatever. And yeah, that is not a solution to that differential equation. So now we go 3e to the 2x. So what's the first derivative of 3e to the 2x? 6e to the 2x. What's the second derivative of that? 12e to the 2x. So is 12e to the 2x minus 6 times 6, which is 36e to the 2x, plus 8 times 3 is 24e to the 2x equal to 0? Yes. So 2 works. 1 does not. Let's look at number 3. 3. The first derivative of ce to the 4x would be 4ce to the 4x, right? What's the second derivative of that? 16ce to the 4x. So, going with this, okay, we got to go back to the problem. So, why don't I'm 16ce to the 4x minus 6 times that, which is minus 24ce to the 4x, plus 8 times the original, which is 8ce to the 4x. Does that equal 0? Yes, it is. So 2 and 3 only. So you will have one of those on the test. Trust me. Slope fields, which is following slope field for a differential equation here. Okay? So put in ordered pairs. Okay? Because it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at 1, 1, it should be 1. Okay? At the ordered pair 1, 1, it should be, the slope should be somewhere close to 1. So if you put in a 1 and a 1, it's about 1. That makes sense. At 1 or at negative 1, 1, your slope should be 0. At 1, negative 1, is your slope 0 on this first one? No, it isn't. At negative 1, 1, the slope should be 0. If you put in a negative 1 for x and a 1 for y, you don't get 0 for that. So if we put that into the second one, 1, 1, do you get 1? 1, 1 minus 1, do you get 1? No, you're going to get 0. 1, 1, 1, are you going to get 1? No. No. 1 cubed, or 1 plus 1, that's like 8. All right. So we got to go back. So 1 minus 1, 1, 1, that should be a 0 slope at 1, 1. So that one doesn't work. This could be like a slope of 2. We just guessed that it was 1, but that could be like a slope of 2 there. So like 1.
Wait, so there's a 0 at
0, 0 gives you 0.
-1.
Okay. So we know that must be something like this. Okay. So if we put in the negative 1, 1, negative 1 times 1 plus 1 is 0. That works. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1 plus 1 is 0. That works. So now we have to go to one like negative 1, 4, because that should be 0. What?
Put negative 1 and 1 in the D problem, don't you get negative 2? Yeah, you don't get 0, do you?
Yeah. You get negative 1, 1 into C?
D.
D? Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1 plus 1 is 0.
No, it's plus a negative 1. It's negative 2.
Oh, screwed that one up, didn't I? So it's C, huh? Because if you put in negative 1, 4, and 4, you get
So
0.
when they're perfectly horizontal, they're 0. And then
Yeah.
straight up and down, what are they?
Undefined.
Undefined.
Okay.
Okay.
So definitely C for this one. Okay. Took a little bit. All right, Tracksters, you can go if you want.
If you want, you don't have to. You can stay. Well, I just stay. Good luck.
All right, slope field for this one.
It's a curve.
It's a curve of some kind. Okay.
So could we just use the zeros then?
So does it look like the cosine curve? Oh, negative cosine. It could be negative cosine. Because the cosine curve starts at 1, 0 and is like this. So the negative of cosine would be like this. Ooh, so it could be cosine, possibly. Okay. Might it be the sine curve? No. Do you remember what the tangent curve does? Yeah, it has asymptotes, so it goes like this.
And then it has the lines, and then it does it again.
And then it goes like that again, yeah. So it's not going to be tangent. So we know it's either this one or this one.
Is there no E for the answers?
What do you mean? What are you saying? No E for the answer.
Sorry.
There's no E for this problem. No. No choice E. All right. That's what he meant. But yeah, I took it the same way you did, Makira. All right. So if we plug in a 0 for this one, what's 0 squared? 0. And e to the 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So if you put in a 0 for x, you should get a horizontal line. Well, that's kind of for everything there. If you put in a 0 for this, the cosine of 0 is 0. Isn't the the cosine at 0 is 1.
Yeah.
Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So these at 0 are both the same. So we have to use some other point to distinguish between these two. Okay? And I already said cosine is going to look like this parabola here. So we know that probably is it, but we got to make sure this isn't it. Okay? So let's try negative 1. What's negative 1 squared?
1.
What's e to the 1? What's Euler's number? 2.718281828459045. Yeah? Okay. So if we subtract 1, it's 1.71. It's a positive, right? So at negative 1, we should have a positive slope if that works. Well, that doesn't work now. He's crying because he doesn't work anymore. Yeah. Okay, so it is A.
What? He had a mustache.
Find the general solution to this equation. This should be easy for you. Live. Phone.
Y equals 2x plus 3.
Y dy equals 2x plus 3 dx. It is not. So 1/2. Because multiply both sides by y, because y is in the denominator at the start. So it's 1/2 y squared equals, because we're integrating, x squared plus 3x plus c. Okay, so if we solve for y, what do we have to do? Multiply by 2, so y squared equals 2x squared plus 6x plus 2c, which is still c.
Why is it still C?
Because 2 times the constant is still some constant. We don't know what the constant is. We only have to find the constant when we're doing a particular solution. Now we take the square root, but we do have to square root the c, even though c is still whatever. So y equals the square root of 2x squared plus 6x plus c with a plus or minus in front of it.
Wow.
That is the general
What would
solution.
the square root of c be if you ended up just having it by itself?
Square root of c. It'd just be c.
It's still just
Yeah.
that kills me.
Yeah. That is a little confusing. How do we solve this bad boy? Facanti! Pretty soon I'm gonna grab that cell phone and march it right down to the office.
Aren't you just doing an insurance check?
Cosecant squared is 1 of the laws. That should be. It's not tangent. It's cotangent.
It is a certain amount letters.
I was right.
Where's the 2x? Where's the negative go? And the negative squares.
The first derivative of cotangent is negative cosecant squared. From your note card. That is on your note card, correct? Has anybody found their note card yet?
Yeah, mine's in my backpack. It's
Mine for physics don't.
The first derivative of cotangent of x. The first derivative of cotangent. Ta-da! So the integral is that. That's the general solution.
I get that. I got it right here. Yeah, it was right.
Well, yeah, it was designed to work out well.
Yes.
We can have our note card, right?
Well, yeah, but not for the AP test.
Are you sure?
I'm sorry.
Shaw gets
The-
the cheat, so if you can get it by Shaw, go ahead. But good luck with that.
Yeah. All right. Find the particular solution of this bad boy.
4 cosine. Okay,
So
so then
dy equals 4 cosine of x dx. Integrate.
first y equals negative 4 sine.
4 sine of x plus c. Then what do we do? 3 equals 4 sine of pi plus c. What's the sine of pi?
1 times 4. What?
What's the sine of pi?
Oh, 0.
0.
Because it's backwards.
So 3 equals c. So y equals 4 sine of x plus 3.
So if it had been pi over 2, would sine have been 4? I mean,
If it would have been pi over 2, then the sine would have been 1. So it's 4 times 1. And then you do the math from there. Yeah.
oh, this is
Okay,
not
I
that
got
bad.
it.
Y dy equals
X squared dx.
integrate.
It's gonna be
Y.
y squared, 1/2.
1/2 y squared equals
One
1/2
third
one
x
third
third x cubed.
plus c.
How do we get this? Well,
Have to solve it still.
let's throw these in right now. Let's throw these in right now.
1/2.
So 1/2 negative 2 squared equals 1/3 3 cubed plus c.
2 equals 9 plus
2 equals 9 plus
c.
c. C would equal
Negative 7.
-7.
Because it's 3 times 3 times 3, 27 divided by 3 is 9. And on the other side, it's negative 2 squared is 4 times 1/2 is 2.
Okay. So then we go 1/2 y squared equals 1/3 x cubed plus or minus 7. So what do we do to each side?
Times by 2.
Multiply by 2. So y squared equals 2/3 x cubed minus 14. Then what do we do? Square root.
So it should be. It should be d, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's positive or negative.
They're the same.
Well, no.
Positive or negative.
So which one is it?
Now, ooh, probably not. Which of the following is the solution? So there's only one. Okay, so then we got to plug this in to see which works. Yep, we do. So if we plug a 3 in, 2 cubed or 3 cubed is 27 times 2 is 54 divided by 3 is 18, right? No,
If it's equaling a -2, wouldn't it have to be E then?
it would have to be E because this one will end up to be a positive. Mm-hmm. That has to be E. Good job there, people. Which step is wrong? A student attempts to solve a differential equation dy over dx equals xy cubed in the initial condition that y equals 2 when x equals 0. The steps are shown below. What did they do wrong?
Step 2.
It's not the element.
It's not, yeah. It's not the element of y squared. It should just be negative y. 1 over negative y.
Which was negative.
Because y to the negative third, the integral of that is y to the negative second with a negative 1/2 out front. So it'd be negative 1 over 2y squared is the integral, not the ln of y to the third. You guys are good. During 1 decade, the price... What? During the 1 decade, the price of silver decreased at a rate that was proportional to the price of silver at the time. The price for 1 ounce of silver was 22 initially, and it was $5.50 after 7 years. How do we figure this out? Y equals C e to the KT. Y equals 22 E K 7, and then not a Y but a 550. So if we divide by 22,
The answer is 8.17.
so divide them both by 11 is 0.5 over 2 equals E to the 7K. ln both sides. This is like 0.25. Yeah. And then ln them. So the ln of 0.25 equals 7K divided by 7. So y equals... Oh, I guess the next thing was, let's just say it says, what is it after 10 years? So why? What? Yeah. Yeah. So y equals 22e to the ln of 0.25 divided by 7 times 10.
10 divided by 7 times ln of 0.25.
Yeah. So you'll have a couple of those on there. Okay? Yeah, there's only 14 questions on it, so it won't be too bad on Wednesday. But that is Wednesday.
Can we just take it today?
No, you'll be here on Wednesday. Only if you